watching the news on Magic Bricks Now. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines.
I call upon the states to follow transparency and also fix up accountability and also digitize their land records and finally go for digital transfer of the money transactions.
Mega Magic Bricks Now impact. Urban Development Ministry pulls up states across India over lack of progress on implementation of the regulator for RERA. Meeting triggered after Magic Bricks Now highlighted how states have diluted key provisions. In Bengaluru, major crackdown on popular Mantri Mall a day after a wall caved in, leaving 2 injured. BBMP forms a special committee to probe the mishap. Mall ordered shut indefinitely. And in Bengaluru, civic body BBMP to clamp down on PG accommodation in the city. BBMP says move to ensure women's safety in the city. In our special series, Mumbai Ka Vote, we bring you a ground report from the city's largest ward, which stretches from Malad East to Malad West in North Mumbai. Straight up to the big story we're following closely on Magic Bricks Now. A day after the wall of popular Mantri Mall in Bengaluru caved in, leaving 2 injured, civic body, the BBMP, forms a special committee to conduct a thorough probe. Now, the committee has been tasked to find out if the mall is safe for shoppers. Shrija gets us more details.
The rear wall of Mantri Mall, one of the biggest shopping centers here in Bengaluru, collapsed at around 3:30 p.m. on Monday. And right now at this spot of the incident, as you can see, the cable wires as well as the rods are dangling dangerously. What we understand is that from the fireman who was at the spot, what he told us is as you can see, the AC duct, the air conditioning duct was damaged, because of which the water seeped in through the concrete and in fact gave way, especially on the 3rd floor. Also, what we understand is that on Tuesday, in fact, the 2nd floor has also developed cracks. In fact, what we know at this point in time is that the BBMP Commissioner Manjunath, in fact, impounded the occupancy certificate from the Mantri owners, and what they tell us is that the occupancy certificate will be handed over to the owner only after the safety engineer and the structural engineer gives a green signal that Mantri can carry on with the businesses over here, especially at Malleshwaram. What we also understand is that the BBMP, in fact, have formed a team of experts, in fact, to study this particular incident. Also, a team of experts from IISc and as well as BMS College of Engineering have formed a committee to study this particular mishap. In Bengaluru, Shrija for Magic Bricks Now.
The extension area ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವಾಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಕುತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಬಿರುಕು ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಆ ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಬಟ್ ಹೆವಿ ವೇಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ, ಬಟ್ ಬಿದ್ದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ವಾಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣದಾಗಿ ಬಿರುಕು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಗಾಯಗಳಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನಾವು ಫರ್ದರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡೋ ತನಕ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇನ್ ಅಡಿಷನ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ನಾವು ಏನು ಓಸಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವರೊಂದು ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮಾಲರು, ಏನೇ ನಾಳೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನೇ ಅನಾಹುತ ಆದರೂ ನಾವೇ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಾಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಸುರಕ್ಷಿತವಾಗಿದೆ, ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಗೆ ಏನೇ ಸಾಮಾನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿ ಮಾಲ್ಗೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿ ಇದು ಸುರಕ್ಷಿತವಾಗಿದೆ, ಏನೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಕಮಿಟಿದ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಓದಿಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು. ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಮೀ, ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ತೊಂದರೆಯಿಂದ ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಸೀಪೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇನ್ ಒಂದು ಒಂದು AC ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ಆ AC ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಂದ ಸೀಪೇಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ವಾಟರ್ ಸೀಪೇಜ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೀಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ 2 ರೀಸನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಓವರಾಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಕೂಡ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆನೇ ಇದೆ.
See, there may be multiple reasons for any of these collapses in buildings which happen. One is it may be structurally deficient, in which case the structural engineer would be responsible. Or it may be loaded with some equipment which it was not designed for, maybe an air conditioning chiller or some heavy equipment which could have caused that problem, in which case the air conditioning engineer and the structural engineer should have consulted each other. Or it could be a problem where, some unknown leakage or unforeseen incident, some accident where some water is accumulated. Water is very dangerous if it is not disposed of correctly. It could be something that has accumulated and weakened the existing structure or rusted if it's a steel frame or something, it would have got rusted, and because of that it would have collapsed. Structural strength of the structure, how much, what it is going to be used for, and making sure it's not used for something else. You can't load a slab beyond a certain limit. You can't allow water to accumulate in any place. So these kind of checks could have been put into place, but again, I'm reiterating that I don't think anybody does these things willfully, right? So it's sometimes things go wrong, and an investigation by the fire and by the civil engineering cell of the BBMP will reveal what happened in days to come.
Away from that story, moving on to a mega magic bricks impact now concerned over states diluting key provisions of RERA. The Union Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation Ministry called a meeting on this Tuesday to take stock of the implementation of the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act. Now, Chief Secretaries of Housing Department of all states attended the meeting that was chaired by Housing Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu. In fact, Deepa Rana joins us on the phone line with more details. Deepa, tell us what transpired in this meeting.
Yes, in the meeting, the Urban Development Minister, M. Venkaiah Naidu, pulled up the states, and in fact, he said that the Real Estate Regulatory Act is the most consumer-friendly act that the Parliament has passed, and no state has the right to dilute any of the provisions of the Real Estate Regulatory Act. In fact, he also did a ground check on how many states, what is the status of the Real Estate Regulatory Act in the respective states. When we talk about all the states in the country, at least 12 states are yet to notify rules for the Real Estate Act, including states like Rajasthan, UP, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. These states do not have an interim regulator in place. With other states like Arunachal Pradesh, Bihar, Uttarakhand, these states are yet to release their first draft rules. In fact, the draft rules are with the respective state governments for vetting, and they have not been notified so far. Other states including Jharkhand, Karnataka and Kerala are yet to notify the approved draft rules which was released by the centre. Now, the Housing Ministry had released the first draft rules for RERA in the month of June and notified the final rules for Union Territories on October 31, 2016. But it was also the Urban Development Ministry which had missed the final deadline. And in fact, while notifying the final draft rules for RERA for Delhi, the Urban Development Ministry was late by 15 days. And now, with elections round the corner, states like Punjab, UP and Uttarakhand, we are also expected to see delay in implementation of RERA. So, the Urban Development Ministry and Housing Ministry had called a meeting with all the chief secretaries and representatives of all the states to find out where the states have reached while implementing RERA. And in fact, all the states have been asked to implement RERA and have a regulator in place by May 1 this year.
All right, Deepa, many thanks for joining us here on Magic Bricks Now with those details. Now, let's also listen to Urban Development Minister Naidu. He gives us a progress report of the implementation of RERA across India.
There is a great opportunity awaiting for the real estate sector, and the Prime Minister set a target of housing for all by 2022. This government has so far sanctioned 14,87,000 houses, and I have called upon the states to please see to it that these housing projects are grounded at the earliest and taken up with all the speed that is required. And the financial institutions also, they are willing to support us because now there is a good amount of money that has come into the system. I call upon the states to follow transparency and also fix up accountability and also digitize their land records and finally go for digital transfer of the money transactions also, because earlier there is a lot of criticism that a lot of money, unaccounted money, has come into the system, which has made the real estate sector also at times they have faced problems, turbulences and all. I hope that this passing of the rules and regulations and notifying the rules of regulations and appointing regulators, once the system is through, the sector will get stabilized. And this government wants to give top priority to the housing sector. And we urge upon all the states to join as partners. and follow the spirit of the Prime Minister Team India.
Now, Deepa also caught up with Rao Inderjeet Singh, Minister of State Urban Development. Listen in.
It has been 1 year that the government is working on the Real Estate Regulatory Act now. So today you had a meeting with all the secretaries. How has it turned out and how are you proceeding with the real estate bills?
Well, we are hoping that it will turn out all right. We started working on the Real Estate Regulation Act sometime in the summer of 2014. We had some kind of clarity by the end of that year. 2015 went in consultation with states and other stakeholders, consumers, and 2016 we passed the Act. Now the Act pertains to the whole of India. We in the Government of India are responsible for those areas where there is no state legislature and for union territories. For those areas we've already made rules, like for Delhi, like for Chandigarh, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, etc. But then there comes in the matter of states. The states have to also conform and they have to make these rules as a part of their curricula by the summer of 2017. I think it's March sometime. Some states have already done sterling work on it. Some states are in the process of doing so. I think this meeting has been called of all stakeholders and state representatives to ensure that by the summer of 2017 the rules are in place and the consumer gets access to a redressal mechanism.
So the Home Buyers Association was also alleging that there were a few dilutions by various states, especially in UP and in Gurgaon also. You've been working closely with the entire organization. How are you going to process that?
Well, you know, in the past, when there was a real estate boom, some fly-by-night operators who were builders, they took money from consumers and they did not put it in the project for which they took the money. They spread it over other projects and they spread themselves thin. So when the boom went bust, they are skating on thin ice, so to speak. So some states who had these kind of operators are sometimes reluctant to conform to the rules that have been laid down by the Government of India. But the rules that have been laid down by the Government of India are, as I would think, in a sense, mandatory for states to follow, because they come in the concurrent list and we've taken opinion of the Attorney General of India. And the idea is that the consumer must be protected at all costs. So this is what we're trying to ensure through this seminar today, that the state governments which do not conform to the centre's ideas on the rules that have been framed should be brought on board. And I think the consensus of opinion which seems to be emerging is that we must protect the consumer at all costs, so that there is rebuilding of confidence amongst consumers in the development process and in the housing sector.
Moving on now, more relief for citizens as RBI increases withdrawal limits from ATMs. Now, you can withdraw up to 10,000 rupees per day from your account. After the announcement that came on Monday, people across India rushed to a nearby ATM to withdraw money. So finally, is this the end of queues? Here's a report from Mumbai.
RBI on late Monday evening had announced the hike in the withdrawal limit from 4,500 rupees to 10,000 rupees per day from the ATMs. And when we did an ATM check across the city in major areas, what we found and observed is that people are able to withdraw 10,000 rupees as per the latest RBI notification. But on the other hand, after 70 days of demonetization, what we have observed is that bank customers and citizens, they have been making fewer trips outside than ATM. Right now also you can see I have all these three ATM banks, that's Yes Bank and ICICI Bank and Kotak Bank, but there is not a single bank customer queuing up outside or waiting outside to withdraw money. So this essentially means that people no longer need that huge amount of money for withdrawal. What we also found out is that people, out of 50 people we spoke to, majority of them had come to withdraw only 2,000 rupees or 6,000 rupees and even 4,500 rupees for that matter, because they say that that was sufficient for them on a daily basis. But on the other hand, what they need at this point is that notes of smaller denominations like 100 and 500 rupees, as they say that is the need of the hour. This is Disha Shah from Magic Bricks Now.
4,500 it's enough now for a day.
तो आपको नहीं लगता कि 10,000 आपको विड्रॉ करने का डेली जरूरत पड़ेगी?
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये ज़रूरत है, लेकिन इट्स में भी जो डिसीजन लिया है शायद कुछ सोच के लिया होगा, तो इट्स
मुझे 5,000 करना था तो 500 की नोट नहीं आ रही है, और 15,000 करने तो 15,000 नहीं मिल रहे उसमें। हर एक की सिचुएशन के ऊपर डिपेंड है। कभी हॉस्पिटल को चाहिए अगर 50,000 रुपये तो कैसे कम ही है ना, 10,000 फिर डेली, और कौन का लाइन पे वो खड़ा रहेगा।
10,000 is yes reasonable because 3 times if I take 30,000 in a month is sufficient.
In a welcome mood, the RBI has relaxed the withdrawal limit from 4,500 to 10,000 rupees. What we understand is that we came across quite a few ATMs. In fact, we also understand that people are able to withdraw the lower denomination notes like the 500 rupees. But however, what they still tell me is that they are unable to, in fact, the ATMs are not dispensing 100 rupee notes. However, what we understand is that this particular the news has brought cheers to customers. And in fact, remember, this decision, the withdrawal limit to 10,000 comes nearly 2 months after Prime Minister Modi, in fact, demonetized rupees 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. However, the actual problem lies here with the panic-struck bankers, because they don't have adequate cash, in fact, to supply to the ATMs. But we did come across quite a few ATMs, especially in the CBD areas here in MG Road, where they are loaded with cash and they are dispensing the 2,000 rupees and 500 rupee notes. In Bengaluru, Shrija for Magic Bricks Now.
On to some news from Hyderabad now. A massive protest was held outside Hyderabad University demanding justice and also commemorating the death anniversary of Rohit Vemula. Rohit Vemula had committed suicide on the evening of January 17, 2016. During the protest, several students clashed with cops. Here is a report.
Two groups of people have come. One, the students from inside the university have gathered, and as you see here, the security is not opening the gate for the students to come outside. What you see outside is another group of students who have come from neighboring universities such as the Manu University, Maulana Abdul Nehru University. And they're here, they're asking the gates to be opened. A lot of people here have gathered. They're putting up slogans like Akhlaq, Rohit, Najib, who's next? It seems to be a collective kind of approach where they're saying a lot of issues are presently a problem in the society, and they're all standing up against it. If I can show you a view out there, there's a group of students who are the university students right inside the gate, and another group of students are shouting slogans. 2 barricades were put up which were pulled down by the students, and a lot of security has been deployed right since the morning. Now you can see an effort by the students inside after they requested the authorities to open the gate. The gate wasn't opened, and you can see here there's a lot of effort being put by the students inside to throw open the gate. The security people are finding it really difficult. In fact, the Telangana police have also been deployed at this area, and the situation seems to be going out of control at the moment. They have requested the people, the police personnel, in a polite manner to open up the gate, but it doesn't seem like they're giving in and opening the gate. What you hear here now, as of now, are slogans of protest. You can hear slogans against the Vice Chancellor Apparao, and these are students of the Students Islamic Organization, students from neighboring universities who have come here as a mark of protest. 1 year ever since Rohit Vemula's suicide happened exactly the same time last year. They have gathered together here in a mark of protest on the first death anniversary of Rohit Vemula outside the Hyderabad Central University.
Now, with the upcoming BMC elections in Mumbai, we've been bringing you ward reports over the last couple of days. In our special series, Mumbai Kar Vote, today, we take a look at the city's largest ward, which is also becoming the fastest growing business hub of the city. We're talking about P North Ward that stretches from Malad East to Malad West in North Mumbai. What are the basic problems in this ward? I went out earlier in the day to find out.
सिर्फ इलेक्शन के टाइम पे आते हैं, भाषण करके निकल देते हैं, बाकी प्रॉब्लम तो वैसे ही का वैसे ही है।
एक्शन लेने वाला कोई है ही नहीं, प्लानिंग कोई करता नहीं, सब वोट बैंक के चक्कर में नेता लोग तो अपने अपने रोटियां सेकने के पीछे पड़े।
पब्लिक के लिए कुछ ना कुछ सुविधा जरूर होनी चाहिए।
It's very tiresome to walk from this road to that road.
Hawkers, lack of open spaces, encroachments and threat to mangroves. The city's largest ward, P North Ward, that stretches from Malad East to Malad West, is no stranger to these problems. However, this ward grapples with a very, very basic problem, and that Magic Bricks now found was waste management, especially in Malad West. Tucked away between Sanjay Gandhi National Park and the city's mangrove belt, this ward is BMC's largest ward, with nearly 15 corporators. But you'll be surprised to see that the city's largest ward also grapples with basic civic issues. The biggest problem Magic Bricks now found was unattended garbage in several parts of Malad West.
कचरे पीछे देखो आप कैसा कैसा कपड़ा है यहाँ पे, ये पीछे भी जाओगे तो कितना कचरा पड़ा है, सब कितना पचका पड़ा, कोई उठा दे नहीं।
स्मेल तो बहुत गंदा आता है, हाँ, और क्या पोल्यूशन भी होता है ना कचरे की वजह से। बच्चे लोग यहाँ खड़े रहेंगे तो बहुत स्मेल आता है, फिर बच्चे लोग बोलते हैं मम्मी चलो यहाँ से, बस तो आता नहीं है टाइम पे, आधा घंटा हम लोग रुकते हैं यहाँ पे।
The garbage, or you can see over here, it's all spread out. During the rainy season, it is, it's hell to go away from here. It's a hell of a job.
That's not all. The largest ward of the city is also home to one of the largest growing slums, Malwani, in North Mumbai. This is one of the biggest slums in Malad West called Malwani. Here you'll see that about 40 to 50 acres of mangroves have been encroached upon. Not surprisingly, green activists are up in arms against this. However, when we spoke to residents of Malwani itself, they said that all they demand is for basic amenities like water or electricity.
तकलीफ में रहते हैं, मच्छर रहते हैं, कभी बच्चे लोग का स्कूल चले जाता, झोपड़े तोड़ के चले जाते, क्या करेंगे अभी?
देख के तो कितने बार चले गए, बोले ये पास रहेगा वो पास रहेगा, यहाँ पे हम लोग के जबकि वायका था पुरू पे, यहाँ पे फिर भी हम बारिश रहे ठंडी रहे कुछ भी रहे, हमारे बच्चे सब माँ बहने से यहाँ पे तोड़ ताड़ के सब चले जाते हैं। हम लोग रहने की जगह ही नहीं है इधर पे,
लाइट भी नहीं है ना, अंधेरे में हम लोग सोते, हम लोग इधर ही रहते, हमारा कोई नहीं, अभी हम दूसरे के घर में रह रहे हैं।
While Magic Bricks now tried to contact several corporators in Malad West, none of them were willing to respond on camera. The Member of Parliament of North Mumbai, Gopal Shetty of the BJP, however, contends that post-BMC elections, these problems will be dealt with on priority.
After this corporation's election, you will see a lot of big development works takes place in the city of Mumbai, and particularly the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, is very much keen to develop the Mumbai city because Mumbai city is the heart of our country.
While residents hope for change, they also feel that this is just poll gimmicks. Amita Balachandra for Magic Bricks Now. Keeping with the city of Mumbai now, Mumbai has finally been tagged open defecation free by the centre. This is what the BMC claims. Now, the centre had conducted a survey throughout Mumbai in all the areas that come under BMC's jurisdiction. We're still awaiting on the official announcements that is to be made in the first week of February. Disha Shah gets us more details.
Mumbai could soon be declared as an open defecation-free city, and what we understand from the sources close to the development is that the centre has finally given a go-ahead to the BMC to declare the city as an open defecation-free. And what we also understand is that over the past 1 month, the officials from the centre, they were here, they were conducting surveys across the city, and they had identified various open defecation spots where BMC has already constructed public toilets. And what we understand from BMC's own data is that they have already built more than 700 mobile toilets across the city. But an important thing to note here is that how the BMC has managed to get this title. If reports are to be believed, according to BMC's own data, what we understand is that more than 45% of the Mumbai's land either comes under the railway authorities or the salt pan lands or either slum areas, and these lands, they do not come under BMC's jurisdiction, which essentially means that only 55% of the city will become open defecation free. However, the BMC commissioner has already written letters to all the three authorities to allow them to build public toilets, but the final decision has not come from their end. But lastly, what we understand from the sources is that the BMC will get its final certification only in the first week of Feb this year. This is Isha Shah from Magic Bricks Now.
Moving on to the city of Bengaluru now, markets are all set to get a makeover modelled on Delhi's popular Palika Bazaar. This is in fact one of the many proposals which the civic body BBMP has come up with. The latest on the list is the street bazaar in Vijayanagar, which, if things go as per plan, will turn to become a high-tech underground AC Palike-like bazaar. Shrija gets us more details.
Remember the Palika Bazaar in Delhi? The Bengaluru Bruhat Mahanagara Palike has been floating proposals to develop major markets under its limits into a high-tech underground bazaar. In fact, I'm standing right now at Street Bazaar in Vijayanagar. As you can see, at least 40 vendors are currently operating in this particular market, and the BBMP has plans to convert this particular street bazaar into a high-tech underground AC Palike Bazaar. In fact, this will be what, if all goes by the plan, this will be one of the first markets to be converted into a high-tech underground Palike Bazaar in Bengaluru. In fact, a number of street vendors from selling vegetables to household things are running their business on this service road, which is located adjacent to Vijayanagar metro station. In fact, what we also understand is that the BBMP has allotted 5 crores to convert the street bazaar into an underground AC bazaar. Also, what we understand is that they are planning to, in fact, the civic body is planning to convert this street bazaar into an AC underground bazaar between 6th and the 8th May. Also, what we know apart from this is that the BBMP, once this particular street bazaar is converted into an underground AC bazaar, the surface, that is this particular road, will be converted into parking lot as well as facilities like pedestrian pathways and public toilets will be in fact constructed here. In Bengaluru, Shrija for Magic Bricks Now.
And that's a wrap on the news. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.